We just took a look at distinct, but let's get some exercise or practice with it right away. In this exercise, our goal is to print out the number of unique phone manufacturers. So we need to take a look at the manufacturer column and then somehow print out the number of unique values inside of here. The correct answer should probably be something like 4, because I see Nokia, Apple, Samsung, and Motorola. So those are 4 unique manufacturers. So go ahead and try to put a query together. We'll take a look at a solution in just a moment.